Welcome to the HCD Podcast Mindset, your ultimate destination for exploring behavioral science, neuromarketing, and consumer research. And I'm your host, Michelle Nigella. Our guest today, Victoria Coutiño, is a powerhouse in the food and beverages industry in Latin America. With over 25 years of experience, Victoria's journey from a food chemist to a renowned sensory consultant is nothing short of inspiring. She has a deep passion for understanding consumer needs and creating exceptional sensory experiences. Victoria's career highlights include her impactful work at PepsiCo, where she led sensory and consumer product insights for LATAM, and her role as co-founder of Sense.i Advisory. She's a visionary leader with a knack for business strategy, insights, and innovation, always striving to uncover and address unmet consumer needs. In this episode, we'll dive into Victoria's remarkable career, exploring her expertise in sensory science, human-centered innovation, and food design. She'll also share her love for Mexican wine and its cultural significance, offering a unique perspective on this beloved beverage. Join us as we unravel the complexities of sensory experiences and consumer behavior through Victoria's extensive knowledge and insights. From her academic contributions to her practical applications in the industry, Victoria's story is sure to inspire and enlighten. But before we dive into our conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode filled with thought-provoking content. Be sure to explore the wealth of resources available on our website, including white papers, conference presentations, and more at www.hcdi.net. Whether you're commuting, working out, or simply unwinding, let's embark together on another enlightening journey of knowledge and discovery right here on HCD's Mindset. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Mindset that I'm so thrilled to be joined with Victoria Coutiño. Victoria and I serve on the SSP, the Sensory Professionals Group, the executive board for that. And so, I've been working with her quite a bit the past year or so and really enjoyed talking with her and hearing about her experiences. And so I'd like to introduce Victoria. Victoria, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Michelle, for this opportunity to share about me. I'm really happy to be here. And well, about me, I am Mexican. I am the youngest daughter of my parents. I always had been living in Mexico City. And well, I am a woman, and I am a she, a her, ella, ele, no? And I am a wife, and I don't have pets, any pets. And I also don't have kids.
Now, I think it's really amazing. You also have 25 years of experience in food and beverages in sensory, correct?
Yeah, mostly, well, yes, I will say yes in both and different ways of different parts of my career. But yes, that's right. That is where it comes more my experience in these two categories, but not only in some soft drinks as well as alcoholic beverage in the past.
Oh, wow. And how did you get into sensory? How did you get into food and beverages? What attracted you to the space? Because not a lot of people are even aware that there is consumer research looking at sensory. So how did you find it?
Well, I will say that it starts since I am a child. Because I can say that I was surrounded by people, my parents, that really enjoyed the food, the different type of foods, not only Mexican food, even that the Mexican food is a wide of variety of type of cuisines within the country. So mostly my father used to teach us, my brothers and I, how to experiment different foods and how to be close to the alcoholic beverage, but on the way to understand more around that, no? So it's something that I appreciate, no? And in fact, it's something that is part of me in my daily basis in my life, no? I really enjoy that part of to understand the culture through the food and through the beverage. And also my mother is a great cooker. So it's something that was since the beginning of my life. And then for a reason, when I was in the high school, I started looking at the chemistry area, something that on that time catch my attention. And knowing the difference of avenues around the field, I decided to go through food chemistry and did my bachelor's degree at the National University in Mexico. And being there, I was surprised everything around the food, everything related with the process, you can imagine, no?
Yeah.
But also I discovered the course around enology.
And what is
because on that, I mean, yeah, the wine, the study of the wines, how do you, all the process of the wines,
wow.
Everything around the wines. So because of this things around in my daily life, I wanted to learn more about wines, no?
Yeah.
But more scientific. So that was one of the optional courses that I took during my career as in the bachelor's degree. And I said, well, this is very interesting. I really like, because it's not only the chemistry, it's also related of around your sense, no? How your feelings are connected with this experience, what you are experimenting through this product that is the wine, no? So in fact, I did my thesis around wines, but not really the process. It was more about how to preserve in a better way the wines in that time. But I think that was something that hit me through the way I was not really quite sure about doing sensory, because there was no course in that time.
Okay.
A specific course related with sensory, but everything takes me to there, because my first job was to manage different courses at the university. So I was responsible to understand how to implement sensory.
Oh, okay. And
So
that kind of
then,
opened up a whole new world.
yeah. Then I start connecting with people from Davis, mostly, and bring all the on that time all the papers around sensory, and figure out how to bring this course to the university in Mexico.
Yeah.
And establish all the bases. So there was a kind of natural connection. No, there was not really something that say me, sensory is your path career, no? But as much as I start learning and contacting people in Mexico that were pioneers on that, I get more involved and really love it. And then I had the opportunity to develop all the course and start giving the classes at the university, and in parallel doing my master degree. So my master degree, my graduation, my work for my graduation was around wines and the application of the comparison of expert wine testers with against a trained panel.
Oh, yeah.
And consumer response. No?
Yeah.
So I
Was
started
there quite a
multivariable analysis. Yes. Yeah, there was some difference. And the thing was to use Mexican wines in all these three types of metrics. So, well, all my passion were there. Everything I learned started there. And then the rest, I spent some years at the university. Then in that time, the name of the company wasn't PepsiCo at all. It was Sabritas, no? Mexico, Sabritas. All the salty snacks from PepsiCo in Mexico. So they called me. I was so happy at the university, but they knocked my door, and I say, well, why not? No, and and
I think
I
that's how
spent
it
more than
happens for a lot of people. It's why not? Yeah.
And then I spent more than 23 years there.
Wow.
So I start there when I joined the company. There was something around sensory, but was not really a kind of continuous operation on that time. So my challenge when I joined the company was to start the sensory capabilities, no? So I first started with everything related with trained panels.
Wow.
And then start introducing the consumer part.
So a question, you were saying that your start was really in food chemistry, where you're really the focus is on the product, right? So
Yes.
when you were getting into wine, even it was really about the chemistry behind the wine, right? And making that switch over to the more human side, the consumer focused side. What do you see as being kind of the importance of understanding the human-centered innovation in the beverages industry?
I think it's because at the end, I mean, I am a human, no? So I react to a product in a good manner or even in a not good manner. So understanding what is positive, no, and take advantage of what is positive of this reaction as a human in front of an object that is activating you feelings, emotions, liking, dislikings, thoughts.
Yeah,
it, I mean, physical reactions, no?
yeah,
It is beyond on a formula.
yeah.
So how you can decode the positive or negative reactions of a human in a formula that is going to give you or is going to make you feeling happy or feeling comfortable or can make you keeping going but feeling good, no?
Yeah,
How do you decode that in a formula, no? And
yeah,
then how you can help to the developers or the R&D technical people to decode that in a formula and in a process, no? Or how a certain part of the process is impacting in a certain way the final experience
yeah,
that is received by a human like me.
yeah. Now you say a human like you, and you talk about decoding the process, and it sounds like it is very much more than just the chemistry of the food. But you were also talking about in your master's looking at these three different types of humans.
Yes.
You have the expert, the wine connoisseur, and then you have the panelist who is trained to really focus on very specific, treating it as a machine, but it's a human,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
trying to look at the very specific attributes of the wine product. And then you have the consumer, right? How would you describe the differences of these humans when they experience products?
Well, it is a very interesting question, and it was a long time ago that I did. But I will say that in some way there are some difference in the expert tasters with the trained panels.
Yeah.
Because even that is the in my perspective, the expert taster is a mix of affective and objective combination, that type of process. In some ways similar to the trained panel, because they have certain attributes that they know, and they look for them in the wine experience.
Yeah.
No, so in the case of the train panel, you give to them, or you train to them in a certain and particular notes that you want to focus, no, or maybe when you are warming up, you are very open to hear everything that they are saying, no, and then you choose or filter some attributes, and you decide what is important, depending on the objective, no. For sure, with the consumers, around liking and disliking is it is a kind of more free expression, but also depends on how you are conducting the consumer test. In my case, I did in a restaurant, so a friend of mine in that time, and they were having a restaurant in Mexico City, in the Condesa, that is a very famous place in Mexico City. So they allowed me to do my consumer test in the restaurant. And there was not too much information about the context. No?
Yeah.
Now I reflect that, but in that time there was not too much information about that. So it was, well, I needed to decide how to do it, because they didn't close the restaurant. The restaurant was in a normal operation. So what I was doing is, when in the time that the waitress was asking what they want to drink, and took the order, I approached them and I say, I am doing my master degree, and I am doing an experiment with wines. I will ask you if you want to participate and taste the wine, if you are wine related, and it's gonna be a questionnaire that I am going to conduct. And if they say yes, well, I was with my wines in my questionnaire.
Oh, wow.
So in fact, I used the context, no? And so it was very different, and I think that was positive, because it was not only the consumer was tasting the wine but also we were in a context in which the wine has a meaning, as a significant situation around all the context, no?
I think that's really important, especially when you're talking about wine and alcoholic beverages, is that so much of it is context driven. And yet so much of sensory research is done in a central location test, in a tasting booth that's very sterile and controlled. But when we're making our choices out there in the real world, it's quite diverse, right?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, totally. And well, it is different, no? There were surprises. I mean, not really surprises, but at the end, when I did all the multivariate analysis, having all these three types of humans, as you say, well, some expectations were about certain type of grape and wine, but surprises around that maybe more sweet experience was more accepted, more welcoming, but also having in mind which were the type of notes related, no? So important for future decisions, no?
Yeah.
And as I said, kind of very similar information from the expert testers and the trained panel, even that they don't use the same attributes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, interesting. When you think about, these 25 years about time in, sensory and consumer science research, can you think of a particular moment in your career where insights have come when you're looking at consumer behavior are directly influence or have directly influenced the success of a product, where, is information that they could not have gotten without thinking about some key element or insights from looking at consumer behavior?
Well, I'm totally fans of two qualitative studies.
Yeah.
In fact, in ethnography, I call it sensory ethnography. No, to observe with the lenses of the sensory mindset.
Yeah.
These humans, because there is a lot that is not safe.
Yeah.
Even if you are not going with that lenses. But when you go and look at this human and observe more, I will say beyond that the objective, you find a lot of things that can be, as I say, decoding to a product experience, no, or even a sensory experience.
Yeah. Do you think when you do these sensory ethnographies, is there a particular way or a particular methodology that you use to elicit the responses, descriptions?
Well, yeah, in a very simple way to describe, no, it is good to listen, start listening them, no, and there are a lot of ways to do it, no. You can do it in small groups, no, or even you can use certain platforms that can help to hear you what they are saying around something very specific. No, sometimes people don't believe that you can hear about a specific ingredient and start listening the consumers, the humans, what they are saying around that.
Yeah.
And you are obtaining a very interesting insights since that beginning, no? And you don't have to have any kind of prototype. And you start having information that can help you to guide something in forward steps, no?
Great.
So I think it's to me it's starting hearing, listening them in a deep listening in a kind of different manners, whatever you have in your hands, no. And then you can do this kind of ethnographies. Again, they can be in person or digital, no, because be part of them or walk with them in the same experience also give you a lot of information.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you can start this, refine or analyze the information and start refining
Mm.
what can help you on the objective and problem that you are going to solve.
And with the actual consumer language, which I think is very important to use actual consumer language and not marketing language, right?
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
times we use language that we use in the field, but that's
Mhm.
not how a consumer would describe their experience, right?
Yeah, it is right. No, what they are saying,
Yeah,
and then which sensations are related,
yeah,
and then how you can translate that in a formula or in a process or in a or decide of a technology.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I think the thing I love about diving into consumer language is that you can really think about it from, from my standpoint, I like to think about it in terms of behavioral sciences and
Right.
behavioral frameworks. So
Mhm.
ways that we've discovered through academic research to shape, all these things that consumers are saying, but shape it, like you said, in a formula, in a framework that helps us break down sort of their decision-making process, right?
Right. Right.
What they're going through so we can better understand the drivers of their behavior.
Yeah. And in that way, you start with the human and finish with the human,
Yes.
no? In your process.
It sounds so simple, and yet I think it is something that we often forget is that ultimately consumers are humans.
Right.
And I really appreciate hearing about your very human-centered approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit? I know now you aren't working at PepsiCo anymore. You are a co-founder of a consulting advisory,
Yes.
correct?
Mhm.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that is and what you do?
Well, well, basically, but I am a co-founder of this advisory. And the name of this advisory is Sense.i.
Nice.
So what we our slogan is to offer your product experience in all the senses.
Mm,
No, so as I say, this is a human-centric
mm,
service in the different aspects that you need for your product to advance your product experience. And what is important to us is my colleague, my partner, and I is to help you to find and define your research strategy,
mm, yeah.
and bring not only us, uh, bring the collaboration other colleagues that can help us to advance your problem. No,
Yeah.
so, sometimes my colleague and I can go with you and provide what you need. But if we consider that we need to, call someone else in an open and in an honest way, we offer to our client what we think that is going to be best for the
Mm.
for their strategies, their business strategy, and the business objective of the
Yeah.
project and the research.
Yeah, and I'll provide a link so that people can check out your advisory attached to this recording, so everybody can see that as well. I think that that is a really great approach. I like the collaborative thinking and the human-centeredness of this. Can you provide maybe an example of some innovative methodologies or approaches you've maybe recommended to people to help them achieve their goals?
Well, besides uh, besides to understand around the formal structure of be in the field of sensory and consumer science, I think that there are another disciplines that are important, and you are, I will say in this way, you are meeting these different disciplines on your way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a question and it's not enough maybe to go to a consumer test and ask for liking and disliking. And in my case, there were some moments in which I was feeling that something was missing. No, so so I and on that moment I started to looking for the answer in, and you find that there is a discipline that can complement, no, that could be psychology, but to me, three things were helping me a lot in some moments, and as I said, is the sensory ethnography. There's one, but also I had the opportunity to receive a very nice and deep training in food design. And the first part was given by the University of Turin in Italy, that they are the creators of food design. So that expanded also my mind and the understanding of different disciplines that can be together with sensory and consumer science, and also everything around the gastronomy, culinary. It is very important. When you, there is sometimes a step in which you need to work with them before you translate the experience in senses and work with your panel. And start decoding.
Have you seen any trends? Meaning, when you're advising any of these innovation groups and teams, what sort of trends are you seeing? Maybe in food design or, consumer trends? What do you think is hot right now?
I think that is hot right now. Design thinking process.
Yeah.
But food design is something could sound close or similar, but it's not.
How are they different? Food design and design thinking.
Well, in the way that I learn is based on design. Well, it's based on design. I will say it's based on the way that a designer thinks. Not design thinking, no? It's the way of how designer think and then immerse in food. So you design food, but you design food by centered in the human.
That you're getting from these very rich sensory driven ethnography.
And sensory is around all the process, no?
But
you
in a
can feel
very humanized way. I like that. Now, when you think back on your journey of, being in academia and working in industry and now being very much an advisor and a go-to expert to help teams, what sort of advice would you give to maybe professionals that are looking at sensory and consumer research? What might, specifically for the LATAM market, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's looking to enter?
Well, I will say go. It is passionate. It is very nice. You combine I mean, something that I realized right by now is something that I really love. Besides everything that I already said during this conversation, is that you can balance the data analysis with the intuition.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is something that I love it. No, so if you are a person that want to understand yourself and others similar like you,
Mm-hmm.
and be in their place and want to solve something for them, I think you can, or you will enjoy to be part of the sensory and science community.
Mm-hmm.
You all the time work with humans, not.
Yeah. I think that's what makes this field so interesting for those that are in it. You know, we are all humans and we are all tasting and experiencing products in the world around us. And so we're very intimately involved in the thing that we study, right? Um, and that kind of brings me to my next question for you, which is, do you, as this, experienced sensory person and understanding so much about wine development and particularly Mexican wines, do you have a favorite Mexican wine that you would
Yeah.
recommend if I went to a restaurant with you and you wanted to really show me something? What would you recommend? What's your favorite?
Yeah, it's a very easy question. You see my face?
Yeah, right?
I can bring the bottle here and show you. The name of the wine that I love is from Casa Madero,
Okay.
Madero House. This winery is in Parras, Coahuila,
Mm-hmm.
in the north of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, is the oldest winery in Mexico,
Oh, wow.
and the wine is 3B, 3B.
Just right. And is that an area of the country that is particularly known for wines?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It is famous because of this winery.
Yeah. Wow. And you've been there, I assume.
Yeah, yeah. And I am very frequent. I am fan and frequent customer.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I really appreciate hearing your thoughts on specifically of the ethnography and really listening to humans as consumers. I think that that's really interesting. Now, I would love to play a game with you
Okay.
if you're up for it. This is our free association game where I am going to name 10 words, and I just want you to say the first thing that comes to mind. And I do want to say we are doing this in English, and I totally understand that this is a second language for you. So if you would like to respond in Spanish, you are more than welcome to.
Okay.
But say whatever the first thing that comes into your mind. I will be speaking in English, but you can say whatever you like.
Okay.
Okay. So the first word is sensory,
Passion.
innovation,
Enjoyable.
consumer insights,
Interesting.
wine pairing,
Love.
product development,
I like it. Like it.
context,
Important.
research methodologies,
Basis.
multicultural teams.
Difficult one word.
Yeah. Food design.
Relation.
Oh, yeah.
Relationships.
Yeah. Food design,
Transcend.
And the last word is humans.
Heart.
Well, Victoria, I really enjoyed this conversation with you. I can hear the excitement in your voice when you talk about these different things within our field. And, I've really enjoyed, our conversation, but also all the work we've done together on the SSP committee. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I really appreciate that you called me to have this conversation. So more than happy to be with you.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Catch you next time.